Hi Aditi.
Hi, Archana. I just sent a message out if everyone's attending.
Okay, no problem. I'm actually going to office every day. It's like 3 days and it's like so hectic for me.
Oh no.
And it's a new office. That office is located like it's almost like 45 kilometers away.
45 kilometers away. My God, that's like a different town. Good Lord.
Yeah, but we have trains where you can go by train. It
That's
takes an hour. But still, it is after a long time I'm going to office and yeah, it's a 2 day week. But this week I went to some other store visits and everything, and I have to wake up around 5 o'clock in the morning,
oh my God.
prepare lunch, breakfast, and pack everything, take
Yeah.
it laptop. Oh, so
But
much.
what do you carry for food then for breakfast or
So
lunch?
I so I prepare a day before. I in the night I prepare my lunch and dinner. So
Hmm.
what I try to do is I try to prepare this rotis, this garlic roti or masala roti,
Hmm.
and stuff that with veggies like spinach and avocado, and I make some vinegar salads.
Hmm.
These pickles.
Hmm.
So I stuff everything. I roll it. I'll make like a Frankie or a roll
Hmm.
and tag them properly so that I have to carry long way. So I don't know when I feel like hungry. I would just want to like grab it and have it.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I prefer making those or like making this uh, roti with omelette. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of Frankie and stuff that. So that's something which is very handy.
That is very good. And we get everything, na? We get our roti and vegetables and everything in it. So that's good.
So that's what I'm having, and it's healthy also. It's not.
It is healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, if I actually like take some curry or rice or something, because it's hot, it might get spoiled as well. And I
Mm,
have to travel a long way,
mm.
and I can't prepare a day on the same day. It will be one day before, so I think it will be spoiled. It happened couple of times, so
Yeah, and
and it's
you'll have to heat curries also, no? We can't eat
yeah,
curries cold because that is awful. Rolls you can eat cold, so I suppose that should work.
yeah, that will work, and it is tasty also.
That's true. That's true. My God. Uh, so your working hours at home also are very long now?
So it's like this. Usually, so it's not compulsory to go an office, but it's a new office. Everyone wants to like see each other. We are working after 3 years
Mm.
from office, and earlier it was in a different location. So now we moved into a different one.
Okay.
So it's like meeting everyone after 3 years, and it's good to see people and new people have joined, and yeah, talking about what we are doing, and we are not doing the same thing what we did in the past.
Mm.
It's way too different.
Mm.
So it's almost like we have done. I worked with my peers. My peers are no more working with the same project. They're working in a different domain, or it's like that. So we work for international market. So like I work for Mexico, Sam's. You heard of Sam's, I guess. Sam's Club.
No, what is Sam's?
So it's almost like a store of. It's a I would say it's a you can actually become a member of it and then you will get in a wholesale price.
Oh, okay, okay. All
In
right.
Hyderabad, we have something like Metro. I don't
Hmm.
know if it is there in other cities or not.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, but
like,
I mean, we have stuff like DMart or something. I don't know if you can become members, but you do get very low prices on that.
no, this one it's like you will get in bulk
Hmm.
and it's a good price and it has a very good value to it. Here
Okay.
also we have something called Costco.
Hmm. Yeah,
So we work,
Costco I've seen. Yeah.
yeah, it's almost same like Costco then.
Okay, okay. Hmm.
So I work for Sam's Club and for Spanish
Hmm.
customers,
Hmm.
French. words, but I don't speak. I use my Google Translator to read everything.
Sometimes Google can make a big bungalow because once we tried converting from Marathi to English and it goofed up big time actually. And then we were
Yeah,
trying.
even like Spanish, it's like that. So I have a content people who actually translate it and explain me how it works. So I write everything in English, create everything in English, and they change the copy to the Spanish
Yeah.
or French. So I just give my observations and I'll give my ideas and they do it. And it's a fun to work. It's not like
Sure.
monotonous thing where
Yeah.
we can.
Very nice. Maybe you should learn also. This is a good opportunity to learn.
Yeah, I was thinking because now I am mostly like this entire year, I'm like completely into Spanish. But I'm thinking that I should learn. I need a good
Yeah.
someone who actually do
Yeah.
that.
But I mean, in Canada, I don't know if there's a Spanish community. Otherwise, that could help. Then you just find a friend of mine was learning French in Chicago. So she didn't find a community, but they had a lot of community activities. And of course, she had a French boss, and also she was able to practice that. It's more the speaking that you need to practice, no? So that's
Yeah.
very
So
nice.
I have all my colleagues are from Mexico. So they all speak
Oh,
Spanish.
of course.
Only for me they speak in this, but they are good. Like they keep telling me, like I keep translating and send them messages in Spanish.
Yeah,
Sometimes I
you
do
should just
that.
start chatting with them in Spanish. What fun.
My nephew does this. So he uses Google Translate and he uses Korean language to talk to me. And
Uh-huh.
he keeps saying all kind of secrets in the group chat. And even he tells me that don't tell anyone that what we are chatting. So even I chat in Korean with him.
Hmm.
Like just translate the text and then copy paste it and that's it. You know him, he's Ansh.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes. Our kids are also like too smart.
Very good. But this is the way forward, no? To know all these things. Even I try to use as much technology as possible, even though I don't need any.
Yeah.
Okay, so looks like Chitra is also not able to join today, but she's not messaged anything. So tell me something. Last couple of Saturdays, did you attend the Saturday classes?
To be honest, like last couple of weeks, I didn't attend because I'm like my days are going hectic. I'm not getting proper sleep. So
Okay,
I
okay.
thought, let me take some rest. And one day I had to go to Walmart distribution center. So it was like too late in the morning. I couldn't wake up. So
Mm,
if it is like 12 o'clock, right? By the time I sleep, my sleep gets like I
yeah.
can't sleep after having the class because that thing is like I have to like do. And even now I feel like I want to do something. I'm like,
Huh.
it's like craving.
Yeah.
I see all those videos and now just in this week I did not download anything, but I want to like download everything and see. Like I kept my WhatsApp downloads off.
Mm.
So I'm like feeling so bad that I'm not practicing anything.
But you know what? Now that I'm putting all the videos on YouTube, they're public viewing, so you don't need to download anything other than
Mhm.
the links, perhaps. But otherwise, just go on to YouTube, onto the channel, and you'll see all the videos from February. They're all uploaded. So
Yeah.
when you have a craving, you can watch one of those videos.
Yeah. I feel like I should start something when I'm in office also.
Ah.
Just and I spend almost like 1 hour in the train, or
Yeah.
sometimes 30 minutes to 1 hour.
Hmm.
And train is almost similar to flight. The
Ah,
kind of
yeah.
I mean to say like it's not that clumsy or anything. You'll get proper seat and it's a AC and you can relax, you can sit, and there will not be any kind of jerks or anything. It will be like a smooth one. So I was feeling that I was traveling by flight.
You tell me, what time do you normally go with this? You know, this gives me a great idea. I should make some YouTube videos for art in trains. It might be a very nice thing. So instead of using too many equipments, we could just do pencil sketching or pen or doodle art. That's very nice. So if we can, I can make some videos for you. We can do that together. So if you can give me your time, and you tell me, okay, now I'm going to sit in the train at so and so hour, I can have a class with you on that. Very fun.
Yes.
Only thing is, we need yours a steady Wi-Fi, otherwise you'll keep going in and out of class.
I think it's actually not stable.
Yeah,
It
that
is,
will happen.
but it goes on and off.
Mm.
But yeah, so it's I have to like hold my mobile and then do it. I think to watch it and do it. But it's almost like the seating. If I there are two types of trains. One is like almost similar to how we have this flights. This is closed one. It's not the big seats. It's
Mm.
just very, and that is something which doesn't have much noise, and we are not allowed to actually take calls. We are not allowed to speak. So
Mm.
there is one floor you can actually, in the ground floor you can talk, but
Mm.
in the if you're getting into the first floor you cannot talk.
Yeah.
So it is very silent mode. And usually I see people, lot of people scribbling or like doing their work on their
Mm.
laptop. Yeah, so it's a pretty good one. There is another one. It's almost like very crowded, and you can feel like it's like Mumbai,
Ah,
but not that much. But sometimes it's like so closed, and I don't feel comfortable going in that trains.
okay. So, but those would be fine if you have a short hop, right? For a long haul, it's better to have proper seating and quiet and all, I'm pretty sure. No, so I'm really thinking maybe I'll just make independent videos for art on your commute, because there'll be lots of people who need to do this. And you can download the video, then you can just listen to it. So you just follow the instructions. It's not as if I need to see your work or anything. And there's so many things. I know how many things I do when I'm traveling. So I don't necessarily wait. I mean, it's not just one topic that we have to do.
I'm actually searching for
Just
Go Train videos in YouTube. Maybe you can check how does it look like.
what is the name you said?
It's a Go Train, but they don't have
Go Train Canada.
Canada.
Public transport in Canada. How to use Go trains and buses.
Yeah,
Train.
Go.
Yeah, they have this. Toronto to Clarkson. Oh, Mississauga.
Mhm. So I used to go to Mississauga before. Now it is downtown Toronto.
Okay.
I'm looking
This
for.
will be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe I should also check if there is art on your commute.
Yeah, something like that will work.
They've done the art of commuting, heart and art of your commute. No? No, they don't have. Oh, this is wonderful.
Which one are you looking at?
So I've just said art on your commute, but maybe I should try art during commute. So this is just sketches, somebody sketching or something. There isn't an instructional video for people who are in the commute at that point. I think that's not expected also. No? Most people would not think that that is something that they'd want to do. They'd rather watch something or listen to something or work. So tell me, what time do you normally travel? I hope it's not like 4 o'clock in the morning, but
No. So I think so let me just check. So I'll be traveling in the morning, right? My morning will be your easy, like It will be
Night
7
time.
or something like that, 7 or 8 o'clock.
Oh, really? Okay, it'll be that evening time. Okay. No, but would you, yeah, actually you can do both ways now, in the morning also and in the evening as well. What time do you get back?
So usually what this is the first week when I'm going to this office. It is on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So if I actually like usually sometimes very rarely we don't get seats, but otherwise we will get it. Like I'm trying to check the timing 1 second.
Hmm.
Eight, 9, 10. One second. So I'm checking this time, but let me share my screen.
Yeah.
First. Oh, I can't do it. You can open this time, buddy, and
I'll allow.
no, you can check this time.
Yeah. I've just allowed you sharing. Oh, you sent me something? Okay.
So I usually travel around. So this week I went around 8 o'clock, 8 and 8:30. In between that,
Wait. Now, how do I change this? I can change the city.
city. You can add Toronto, Canada.
Why is it giving me Honolulu? It's random. Okay, okay.
So I think it will be your somewhere in between 5:30 to 7:30. 5:30 to 7.
Yeah.
But my timings are not specific, but I can ping you if when I'm actually traveling.
So you travel at 7, you said, huh?
Somewhere between 7:30 to 9.
Okay.
7:30 to 9 or 10.
Yeah, so it'd be 5 to 7 in the evening over here. And what?
5.
And this will be the same day, right?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
No, what
Which
I
is
mean is it will be on the same date. But if you are coming in the evening, then it'll be nighttime for me.
yeah, same day, night time for you. It's 5:30 and it's 5:30 to 7:30. Mine will be.
No, but if you come back, say at 4 o'clock or something.
Yeah, I usually travel around. I'm like, see, office is like just commuting.
Huh.
We are just showing our presence there. That's what we are planning for. We are trying to avoid all calls. We'll just meet and greet everyone. And if there are anything, we'll have within the period where we are in the office.
Hmm.
So mostly I'm planning to return by 2:30 or 3 o'clock, max 3, 4:30 I will return.
Huh.
So which will be yours very night. 1 to 2:30. It will be very late.
That'll be late.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay,
5:30, I have to ping
Huh.
you. So I don't know like at what time I get the train. Sometimes it will be late, sometimes it will be easy, or sometimes I might not get a seat. I don't know. It might happen. So I can ping you
Yeah.
on saying that I'm free and we can do a quick call.
Yeah, we can try it. So we can try it on
WhatsApp.
Thursday, because Thursdays evenings I'm usually free to do this. Tuesdays, what's happening on Tuesday? I usually have a class right up till 5 o'clock, and I'm not on at this place. I'm at my studio where I have in-person classes. So then Tuesday might be a little too hectic, but Thursday we can try for sure.
Thursday. It's Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday.
Sometimes it is on Thursday, but I'm not sure. Like I have to ping you and tell you that I'm going there.
All right. Wednesday evening, right now I'm doing the art quarter. So that is, again, I'm busy till October. After that, I should be free. But in the meantime, I'll make videos, short half-hour videos or something. that at least you can watch on the commute and test it out, see if that is working and give me some feedback. And then we can do it. So anything that is convenient tools that I can focus on that. So you don't have to carry too many things.
Yeah, I think I tried this one once. I have this watercolor pencils. Okay. So, but we can just make sketches out of it. But when we have time, we can easily make a water brush and then make that painting.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
At least like one thing is micron pen will work,
Yeah.
and the other one is color pencils.
Correct.
So I have a set of watercolor pencils which works well.
We can
So
do
that,
that. It's a
yeah.
good idea. Okay, so how are you up to it? Do you want to do the class right now? Because it's just you and I. I'm happy to do it for you.
We can do it.
Okay, if you're itching so much, then we'll do it. So we'll do print design. And this is just about how to create all sorts of prints. We've done this before, surface pattern design.
Surface pattern, yes.
Yeah, so we just do more of these, and maybe I can just do a couple of prints with you today instead of the whole theory bit, because I think that we've done before. And while I'm doing the prints, I will explain to you how the theory works as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so surface pattern design is just when we, anything like this even, you just have a pattern which decorates the surface. And if you think about it, these can be all sorts of patterns. On paper, these are printed patterns, or sometimes they can also be patterns that you can make, which are, there is some, it's like a 3D thing. So you can emboss, you can, what else can you do? You could paste something on top. So it's very tactile also. So when you think about surface design, it does not necessarily only have to be some kind of print. Think about all sorts of things in this. But today we are just going to focus on the print part. So when developing a print, there's lots of simple things we can start with. So what we'll do is in half the page, we will just make maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 small boxes. And then we will make one large print over here.
Okay.
I'm going to try a way to spotlight or pin. Yeah, that way it becomes bigger. And on this side, just make one large box. So in the next class, we are going to do what is normally considered a very formal print. Like when you create a design that needs to be repeated infinitely on textile maybe or on paper. But for today, we'll use some of the same motifs, but we are just going to randomly create a print out of this. So we can start with paint directly. Don't even use a pencil for now. We will use paint and then we will make these different kinds of prints. I'm just gonna go get some water, huh? Okay. Are you here, Archana? Are you here, Archana?
Yeah, Aditi.
All right. Okay. So just so that we can do some variations, the first two boxes make some kind of color backdrop. So we'll just make a wash. I'm using cerulean blue. Do you remember how we do these washes? So
Yeah.
I'll just go over it again. That firstly, make your color fairly liquid. Even if it is a dense color, you can have a lot of pigment in it and make it reasonably watery so that it flows without too much resistance on paper. And when you're making this, tilt the book a little bit, about 20 degrees or so. Not too high because otherwise then all the paint will drip down. And
Okay.
load the brush quite heavily. I'm using a number 10 brush, and that heavily loaded brush, I'm gently placing or rubbing or making a line across the top so that I can see that the liquid on top. And as I keep loading this, you will notice how that liquid, because of gravity, will be pulled downwards a little bit. See? So don't press the brush. If you press the brush, then it becomes very dry. And keep loading the brush before all the paint, all the medium from the brush is used up. So just barely touch the paper and touch the paint just with the tip above and make a thickish line as you come down. So don't hold it upright because then you're making thin lines. If you're holding it flat, don't press it because then you are embedding the paint onto the paper. And by light, what I'm trying to say is this is as light as if you are try touching your hand with this. You should barely be able to feel the brush on your hand. That's the lightness with which you should touch the paper. So that way, all you do is you land up. Yeah, and then when you have excess paint at the bottom, very often you land up with this. Wipe your brush, and then just at the bottom tip, you can pull away a little bit of the paint with just capillary action. But do it gently, otherwise you'll leave white patches.
Okay.
This is one. Next one, I'm going to try making, I don't usually do this, so I'm going to make a emerald green patch. I don't know what I'm going to do with it afterwards, but let's try making it. But also, see, this is a nice way to clean out your palette. Now I've got some greens over here, but it's not sufficient. So I'm adding just a little bit of paint, but I'm liquidizing all of, or activating all of this paint. And I will use this to make my wash. And it does not have to just be one color. So you could make a puddle of 2-3 different shades and land up with something really unusual. Often we get colors which are slightly dull maybe when we do this, but they can be a very interesting neutral shade that maybe you can use in design some places, or just as a backdrop, even in landscapes or urban sketching. But very often these shades come about quite by accident. Like if I were to mix together this green and this brown or whatever purple, I'll get a dullish green, which I might not have got otherwise, because what are the chances of these same colors landing up next to each other and we mix them, no? So once in a while, those experiments are really fun. All right, now using maybe the same brush or another brush, we are going to cover up one box with 3 different dots. So choose any 3 colors. They don't have to be contrasting. They can be of the same kinds, like you can use yellow, orange, red, or yellow, orange, blue, or something like that, whatever you feel like it. We have to make them in a certain order. So first one color will make the big dots. The second color will make the medium-sized dots, and the third color will make all these filler dots in the space in between. So I'm going to show you how one should go about it. Now, when we are making a surface pattern, it's all about distributing space. It's more than making the pattern itself. It is the supporting negative space that will make the design look I guess pleasing or balanced. And that balance is often ignored. I mean, not the balance, the negative space or the contribution of the negative space is often ignored or even not seen. So that is like the silent stage that helps the actors, which is the positive design, shine. So I'm going to now take the same blue color. I'm using a smaller brush now. This is a number 4. And I'm going to start making dots. So before you start, I just want you to see how I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to start somewhere in the center, but not exactly in the center. Just maybe a little off. And then I'm going to make these dots in such a way that I kind of cut the space around it. So first I made a dot over here. Then there was a lot of vacant space over here. So I made a dot here. Now, once these 2 are done, looks like there's vacant space here. So I'm going to make a dot in the center of that perceived vacant space. You get me? Now there seems to be vacant space here. I'm going to make a dot somewhere here. Now here, when I make it, I have to avoid making them in a line. or in a very predictable pattern. So 1, 2, 3, fourth one will come here, then it will start looking like a pattern. So somewhere over there is fine, but maybe even closer like this. So just a little off. It is not totally off and not in a predictable pattern. So this is the difficult thing often to do. Now, if I were to make the next one here, this will all come in a line. So maybe I'll make something that's somewhere over here. Now here we have a vacant space. So what happens is that as we start filling these circles, you start seeing where that negative space is calling out for attention. And this is basically it. We often focus so much on what to make, but we don't pay attention to where to place it. And surface pattern design, especially these random designs, is about that. How do you place these motifs so that the pattern can look pleasing? Now, if something were to go wrong in your pattern, which often does when you're doing this as a beginner, and you don't know what elements to put thought to, we will land up with either crowding the design too much or having too many spaces which are vacuums. Like now, I think my design is okay, but you can see that there is some vacuum over here. If I were to now put any dot over here, I might make it too crowded, considering we have 2 more colors that are going to come over here. But inadvertently now, can you see how I have made it into some kind of spiral? I don't know how it happens. It just works like that.
I think Aditi, you did not pin your video.
I have pinned it, but only I can see it as pinned. Okay, now I can see it as gallery. Now turn it to. This is going to be an odd thing. I don't know how it will record. Archana, you have 2 devices, right?
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor and just for a few minutes, if you can log in from the second device, I will spotlight this video and then you can log out from there.
I can do it from my mobile.
Yeah, you could do it. Because when there are 2 people, it doesn't allow spotlight, but it just allows me to pin the video. Okay, great. All right. Now do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Right. Now, once this is done, we can take the second color, which in this case will be the green, same thing over here. And we can make medium-sized dots. And we follow the same principle. So you can make a medium-sized dot over here. Whatever space in between you get, you can put a medium-sized dot there. And continue. And in this case, again, avoid making dots which are straight in one line. To make them a little off that line. So they should look slightly random. That's why in a place like this where you have 4 corners, avoid putting the dot right in the center. Don't put it there. Even if it's a triangle space, avoid putting it right in the center, because the moment you do that, you give it too much regularity. The eye is very good at seeing even spaces. And as much as sometimes those even spaces make our designs look very nice and clean, they can also be a very sterile pattern. So this is when, at least the way I experience it myself, I can say that when I come across a pattern like this, I very often feel my brain is struggling to figure out what the logic of this pattern is, or where I can see the repeat,
Mhm.
what is the predictable part of this pattern, not consciously, but just in the way I myself experience interacting with that pattern. And that, I think, is very exciting or challenging for the brain. So from what I've read, um, there are several things which help. I mean, just give your brain, I guess, something to do. So seeing this and enjoying the whole, the color combinations and flipping from one to the other, and also the unpredictable spaces in between, allows the brain to enjoy, I guess, randomness and unpredictability, spontaneity. So
Mhm.
there's this video on YouTube about, I maybe it's a TED talk. I'm gonna find it out. This one is about a guy who says how buildings nowadays are becoming so blank. They're all just glass surfaces or very art, not even art deco. Art deco was quite decorative. But now the modern buildings are becoming very sleek. And his argument was to allow for some kind of design or aesthetic beauty on the outsides of buildings or even wallpaper or things like that. And what he claimed was that uh, in the absence of these kinds of organic shapes or colors or forms in around us as human beings, there is a certain amount of increase in stress levels. So if you don't have paintings, you don't have plants, things around you like these, which are organic, unpredictable. But now, when I say unpredictable painting, it's about the painting showing something that is representative of unpredictability. So it could be even an abstract postmodern painting would still have something that is that engages your eye. But if you have like a beautiful color wall and nothing else, then chances are that you might there's nothing to engage you. And even if you have the same painting over years, every time you see it, there is some kind of experience or interaction with it. So it's almost like a family member. You may have lived with that person for your entire life, but every interaction is still interesting. So that's the kind of effect that these elements have around us. But when you make them all predictable, when you have straight lines and everything, you know that infinitely this wall can continue and there will be nothing different in it. That, I think, I don't know whether it doesn't induce stress in me, but maybe it does not ease me enough. It does not allow my brain to feel the joy of being around things that are unpredictable and fun. So when we are making prints like these, where we are not going to repeat them, like for example, a pattern like that, you can make it on a small item. You could make it just as a decoration on an artifact, for example. Like if you're going to make pots, pots look very nice, potted plants. I mean, plants in pots which are decorated with just simple patterns can look very nice. The same pot, if you take a just one gift wrapping paper and you wrap it around, it won't look as fun as the random pattern that you'll end up making. So you start making like a zigzag line onto this pot. All your lines will not be perfectly straight. So some of them will be wobbly, some will go up and down. that now even the straight lines, that is fun to make. I enjoy that as well. But even these can look very fun and very casual and handmade, which can bring its own joy. So the prints that we are doing today are more about this, something that you can quickly make to decorate your space around. And there's all sorts of things that you can do with this. So that's why the space distribution is a little complicated. When you have a regular pattern, you say, okay, all dots in one line, below that, all dots in another line, and it's like you are arranging a platoon of dots. And there's really no brain work over there. You just sit and say, okay, this way. Then you can say, okay, fine, maybe right below each other is very boring. So we will just put them one step off, a half a step away. And then you get this diagonal design. But it is still a very predictable design. So that part is also fun, which we are going to do next week. But today it's all about identifying or noticing how that negative space is playing a very interesting game just by not doing anything, but being around these, like you are distributing the negative space cake around all the dots.
So I was thinking, while traveling, a lot of surface patterns.
Oh, yeah. You can do a lot of these.
Micron pen also, like just have a micron pen and color pencils.
Correct.
I think it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, the third one in this, we can pull up maybe a contrasting color. So let's take an orange. Maybe in this case, an orange and gamboge mixed together will make for a very nice color. And there's another thing in this also, because we are making these by hand and in watercolor, our colors are also going to look different. Some places they will be dense, some places they will be light. So when building a pattern like this, the whole filling this space at random is also an interesting concept. You don't necessarily start from one area. Like if you were to make them a regular box, then you would start from the top left, or even from the center. If you start, then these could be dense towards the left, and towards the right they could be lighter, and that might continue. But in this case, it's not that also. And you don't need to also have the same color. So the third color, now we're going to make smaller dots. And you can fill many more in the negative space, the smaller dots. But I would recommend first starting with the same process as before, placing them in the middles or somewhere close to the middle of the blank space, but also adding a few dots that are like over here. I can add maybe 3 dots, but not in one composition. So one is slightly bigger, 2 are slightly smaller, and 1 is further away from the other 2. We can do something like that, change angles and sizes. But the color remains the same. Now here, if you notice, I've not filled it up too much. So there is a certain density of dots over here that looks more than the density over here. And that is good too. If we again try to fill up everywhere, it becomes too much of the same thing. Not necessary. Something like that can make such a beautiful card, and it's done within 5 minutes. After this class, you should not need to make buy cards or envelopes or even gift wrapping paper for forever.
Yeah. I think I enjoyed the surface patterns last time. I made it's still every day, actually, it's there on the table. I keep watching. It's so nice. I think I enjoy doing that.
Yeah. You should pull out some of the older pictures and send them. Even I'll remember them, which ones these were. All right. So now the next one. For the next, if these are dry, we can actually, okay, we'll do them after this fourth one. So the next one, we will try changing the motif a little bit. And this time, let's try making some florals. So first, usually what I would recommend is to first design your different motifs and then paint. But today, let's try it without it. So I'm taking orange, that same orange and yellow gamboge mix. And I'm making the centers of the flowers, like how we made these dots. I'm going to make, no, actually, forget the centers. I can make them in a darker color. So I'm just making like a random blob. I'm deliberately not making it like a circle because I want these to look like flowers. And because a hand moves the same way in one orientation, I'm going to keep rotating the book so I get different shapes. And in some places, I might place them together also. Sorry. So just blobs of color. I think this should be fine. Any more might not look so good because we are going to make leaves around them.
Okay.
Now, while this is drying, let us go to the blue box. So rotate your book so that your hand doesn't go onto the wet paint. You can turn it completely upside down also. But in this case, now what will happen is your hand will be off the edge. So it might be nice if you get something to place over here so that your hand is uh, supported if you feel the need to.
Okay.
All right. Now we can choose any dark color over here. And usually when I do this kind of surface pattern, I try really hard to pick whatever color I have in the palette because otherwise I have such a defined, strict color palette that I don't deviate too much. And that's very limiting. So I have this color on the side. This is a mix of, I think, crimson, light red or burnt sienna. And there's a little bit of black and blue on the side. So I've just mixed it together to make some kind of brown. I would never put brown and blue together, but unless I do it, I'll never know how it looks. Now this is, since it's watercolor, it's going to be like a glaze. There's no telling how the third color is going to be, the color that comes when you mix the blue along with this new color I've made. So here I'm going to make a leaf pattern, only leaves, but I'm going to have it come into the box from different sides. So my motif is just like this. It's a, oh, it's looking nice. It's a small branch or stem with leaves that are maybe just 3 leaves at a time, not more than that. I'm going to keep rotating the book so that I can make different patterns. In many of these cases, the patterns are going to come into the center. So avoid making a straight line. make a nice curved line. Hold your brush upright so that you make a thin line. And then if you want, you can make the outline of the leaf and fill it in quickly, or give yourself a stem and then use brush manipulation. Now look at this. When I make this stem, one would think that I should logically go over here, but I will not point it towards another leaf tip. I will point it in the blank space between the adjacent leaves. So this space that you see, this little V shape that is happening, is the negative space, and it is being distributed in such a way that our eye, as it passes through, has a very pleasant experience. Now, there is some vacant space over here. I can make a second leaf, or I can make a second branch. Also, the leaves, I personally prefer to put these leaves a little away from each other on the main stem, not exactly opposite each other, because that makes that junction very clunky. Now here, instead of making a leaf in the same direction, I'm going to make the leaf slightly more upright, just to change the direction of the line, and because of that, the negative space. Okay?
Yep.
All right. So this is the process with which we can fill up this area. Now the next one, maybe we can go right to the opposite side over here. And at any point, don't make more than one curve. So don't make S curve. Always just make a slender C curve. If I make one from here, it'll look like this is a continuous branch, and that again might look very boring. So maybe I'll make mine in another direction, coming like this, and use the same size leaf for the first 3 leaves, the ones at the terminus. Now, if I make more of the same leaves, it will become a very boring design. So I'm going to, in fact, add a longer line and make a 3-leaf pattern over here also. So 1, 2, slightly smaller maybe. And in this case, I'm going to actually try an overlap.
Okay.
Same thing over here. And here now, because the design is going to bleed out, I'll show only one leaf. This kind of continuity also looks nice. Now, I don't need to match the overlap, but more or less that direction would be the same. But I don't want the tips of the leaves to end in the same place. So I made it slightly shorter, the leaves slightly smaller, so that it ends at a different place, and allows the eye again to move this back and forth. So now, since you do design, Archana, you will know in layouts, we often align text like that. So you would either have all the text left aligned or right aligned, or then when you get a block of text, do you do that? You adjust the text so that you do like a command shift and pull if a sentence is too long, for example. If yeah, you break the sentence so that it doesn't look like you've got one long sentence, one very short sentence, and then another long sentence. So you'll break it so that this edge doesn't become too fractured.
Yeah.
So in the same way, if I were to make in a similar manner, if I were to make this leaf and this leaf and this leaf all end in the same line, that can look rather boring. So there was a danger of that happening here. See, 1, 2, 3. But the moment I put in this and this, something broke the monotony. That is the intention.
Okay.
Now, unlike maths, thankfully, there isn't a formula for this. It's all very organic. So you just need to respond to the design the way you've made it and see what more can I do, what else can I make. So it's all very freeing there. And again, there is no right or wrong, there is just an effect. So in a strange way, it's almost like a Vedic concept that depending upon the context, something becomes appropriate or not. But whatever you do in terms of design, there will be some kind of, there will be a consequence. That's about it. So if you do a lot of dots, the consequence is that the design will look very busy. But a busy design is not wrong or bad. If you use colors that are clashing in a busy design, it will just look like a very clashing psychedelic pattern. And only when you place it in a context will that make an impact, which will, which you know is appropriate or not appropriate. You know what I mean? So when you are making these patterns, especially if you're going to do this like a random time pass illustration project, just do it in a very open-minded manner. Not don't think of it as if I do so and so thing, it is right. If I do another thing, it is wrong. It's not wrong. It's just different, and it will have its applications somewhere or another. Like in the 60s and perhaps 70s, there was this trend of a very bright, busy wallpaper in the Western world. So the designs used to look rather, I mean, very busy for that, objectively speaking, design. Today, when you look at it, it can come across as very garish. But it has a very nice recall to the 70s. So if you are going to recreate the 70s, this wallpaper design can completely make your visual complete. What do I say? Completely make your visual authentic, not complete. Okay, now here's a quandary. Here we have two branches facing each other, and there is some blank space over here. So what can we do? We do need to make something in one of these angles. So just shift the angle a little bit. If I make it at say 45 degrees, it's too much the same. So I am going to make it more horizontal, but then I will come out from this side. So on the left hand side, the branch looks like it is radiating outward. Oh, two similar looking leaves next to each other, not very nice. So I will put an overlapped leaf over here to break that monotony, and maybe pull in a small leaf from this side to fill up space. Now we can do something similar over here also, but this time round, we just need to add leaves to the orange flowers. Wait, I'll wait for you to finish.
Yep.
Done?
Done.
Okay, all right. Now for the orange flowers also, we don't necessarily need to make green leaves. So I'm going to make blue colored leaves. But maybe I can add a different shade. I don't know which shade is next to this, but let's see if I make blue and this. Maybe it's yellow ochre. What shade I get? Cerulean blue and yellow ochre. Very interesting green shade. Now here again, look for the spaces between adjacent motifs. So let's start with this big flower because it's attracting so much attention and because of all the negative space around it. So I can make a leaf come here. But then I have this big flower over here. I can make some leaves go there. Making two parallel lines would be very boring. So instead of coming down, maybe I can make my leaves stick out from towards the left. And smaller leaf coming over here rather than one big branch. Then in this case, instead of going straight up, because straight up vertical lines can be really boring, I can turn my branch to the right. Have a small leaf here and a small leaf there. And keep rotating the book. Now this still effectively I've gone and made it pretty vertical. So I need to break that a little bit. So I will change it over here and hopefully I don't make another line coming towards the bottom from there. I can throw in a leaf from this side, but I don't want to make it too parallel. So maybe I can just make a leaf like that, sticking out of the flower. This color combination is looking really nice. I quite like it.
Yeah, it's looking like a kalamkari prints.
You think so? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay, now I'm changing this angle and going sideways. Then from here, again, space between this leaf and the flower. Now, there isn't too much space here, so I could just make a leaf. And in these places, now instead of throwing out more leaves from the flowers, maybe I can throw just one. But we can also have leaves coming from the outside, and maybe also bits of flowers. So just to study what you can do, Archana, is once you make patterns at every stage, especially a stage like this, where theoretically it seems as if the pattern can be done, you can take a picture and then add another element and see how that is looking, and then add another element so that you can see how the impact, what the impact is of each element. Now, for example, at this point, this is a very easygoing design, I would say. It's not really making a very big statement. It's not really attracting too much attention other than the orange blobs. But only if I tell you the next part, which is now if I make the centers of these flowers a bright red or even a black, then something will change. So what if I do something like that? So this impact, often we don't realize until we have done it. And it seems like a small thing, but whatever the red color does, it definitely brings up so much attention to the center of the flower that suddenly our eye darts from flower to flower to, I guess it's just the nature of how flowers are. So there is more interest built in. Now to this, if I add a fourth element, and that could be dots. I just love dots. And in that case, I could have a slightly brighter version of the same green in blue. And I put it all over and make the design slightly busier. What impact does that have? So each of these colors and their motifs and their numbers will create something else, will do something else. And done right, it would just give you the right amount of interest and intrigue in your design and not overwhelm the design or make it too boring. Now, most of the designs that we are doing are, at least these two are very organic, but you can also do some almost geometric designs. So in this blue the green box, we can try doing something like that. Now I want to clean out my palette. There's too many things. So start with whichever color you have handy and you can start with making a triangle and fill that triangle. Then next to that, make the next triangle. Then maybe you can change the color and make the next triangle. So here the task is to try to keep the space between the triangles the same. Now I've made these two sides of a triangle. Just close this and it becomes a third triangle. Then maybe I can make one side here, one side here, and this. So triangles are very easy to replicate.
This is almost like how Susan has done some cards.
Oh, yes, yes, yeah. So she makes it as a mosaic. Yes, you're right. So I think in Susan's case, she uses, does she use only triangles or more shapes like triangles?
Yeah, different shades.
Different shapes. That's also very beautiful. In the beginning, though, making different shapes can be a challenge. So I prefer to start off with triangles, and once you're comfortable with this, then you can make different kinds of shapes also. Like over here now, you could easily make it into a square or some kind of polygon. Now here again, you'll notice that all the work is done on the triangles, but the hero finally often turns out to be the negative space that carries your eye through and through. Even this exercise is very nice on your commute. Just making shapes, because you don't really need to think too much and you just need to focus on making straight lines, again, to the best of your ability. Now, here we can try doing this. Try to contain your design. Don't overshoot the box. So we don't really need to make a, a bleeding design, a design that when you have part of the design that sticks outward, then that's, you know how that's called a bleed. So you don't need to bleed that design out when it comes to geometric shapes. You can contain it. Sorry, that was too bright.
It looks good.
Okay, you can see it, no? Okay, so I guess this you can continue this at on your next commute. And
Yeah, I can
this
do.
with color pencil also you can try.
Yeah, I can try that.
Great. Great. Okay, so now the next boxes and this large one. To give you some ideas for this, now I'm going to share this one girl's page on Instagram. Let me just show you. So this lady, I think is a pattern artist and very inspiring stuff. The patterns are just beautiful.
Is it on Instagram?
Yeah, let me just show you. See these? And I think she makes a lot of them with acrylic and Posca. So that's another thing you can carry. Look at this, just beautiful. Very, very busy Jhatak prints. But they look so nice. Lots of different forms of motifs you can use. Even something like this. Look at this, so simple. Ah, look at a book. It's just so lovely to have a book like that. So you can have a commuting diary in which you can make patterns.
We get these kind of prints, but this to have our own is a very good one.
Yeah, exactly. And these are very doable. So I'll share her link with you. This is Paulina Oshu Patterns, OSHU Patterns.
I got it. I was looking at the same time.
Okay.
The first, second post, second post what she made, it has all different patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Made a collage of it, and it's so nice.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
opened books, right?
I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, some of them are like so nice. I think these are something which we can do while travel also.
Definitely. But you know what I could also suggest is just to keep things more interesting. Whenever you do get the time, if you find a book that has multicolored pages, then that is one option. Or you could use you could make colored pages using acrylic paint and then carry acrylic markers.
Oh, okay.
So you have these bases already prepared with whichever color, red, yellow, blue, as and when, just one single page in one flat color. And then when you're traveling, you take out your pens and you can work with the design. That's what I'm going to try now.
And let me try.
Cool.
I have to buy some books.
You have to buy books. Are you sure you don't have any?
I have, but yeah.
Then now look for ones with nice multicolored pages.
Yeah. I think I can find something on Amazon.
I'm sure. Okay, 1 second. Huh? Okay. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. And the next week we will be doing tracing of a pattern to make them into like what you see behind the wallpaper. So I'm going to teach you how a few. These are those design repeat or how to repeat your design or to create an infinite pattern. So if you can get a hold of tracing paper, we just need a little bit. So even if you've got some tracing paper at home, or what else, a very thin printer paper, that is also fine. And what will we need? We'll need an eraser next week for sure. So that will
Okay.
be handy. We might also need some tape. So just some paper tape would be good. And I suppose, yeah, that's it. So tracing paper, paper tape, and eraser. And we already have a pencil and pen.
Okay.
Okay, chalo. I shall see you next week then. Bye.
See you.